Hello, I'm Bennett Goldberg, Director of Research in Higher Education, Training and Evaluation, and a Professor of Physics and Astronomy at Northwestern University. I've run training programs and worked in the area of program evaluation for a number of years. Since 2017, I've been a member of the NIH NIGMS Training and Workforce Development Study section, and more recently also in the NCI Study section. Prior to the NIGMS reissuing of the Request for Applications, the FOA, very few T32 proposals contained a logic model. Now, 2 years into these revised proposal guidelines, even though they are not required, between about 1/4 and 1/2 of all proposals contain logic models. In this video, I will briefly explain what logic models are, how they are used in proposals, and some of the benefits that they offer from the perspective of someone who is reviewing your proposal. Logic models are simply a visual representation of the key elements of the proposal you're already familiar with: your proposed program and trainee goals, the activities that those goals are designed to achieve, and what short-term and long-term program outcomes look like. Some logic models also include how those short and long-term outcomes will be assessed so that you can know what has or has not been achieved by your program. Logic models are typically used in 2 places in proposals. The first place they are generally used is as a guide to the proposal reader to understand your entire program, as a means of explaining how the pieces of the program are connected. In this approach, the logic model is a way of describing the overall program and trainee goals and their relationship to your activities and resources. When used in this way, the logic model generally appears early on in the proposal, typically in the first few pages of the research section, and is referred to throughout, where specific goals and activities are discussed in more detail. The second place they appear is as the basis of your evaluation plan, linking the goals to program metrics and outcomes, and defining what will be measured and where feedback will be collected and incorporated into improving your program. They act as a guide to how the evaluation plan will be implemented, and when used in this fashion, they typically appear in the evaluation section towards the latter parts of the proposal. They can also appear in the evaluation materials appendices. NIGMS study sections are now pretty familiar with logic models, having seen them for a number of years. Generally, logic models demonstrate that the proposers have defined program goals, identified strategies for achieving them, and are able to clearly articulate the unique and key features and training activities of their program and how these will lead to trainee success. Generally, logic models also help demonstrate that the proposers have a clear idea of what they will assess, the short-term and long-term metrics, and how they will measure their progress. The use of logic models in T32 proposals sometimes also demonstrates to the reviewers that the program PI and directors have sought advice from experts in program evaluation, as well as developed their own skills in thinking through the structure and applying a useful framework to their training program. It is important to understand that logic models are by no means required, nor are they the only or perhaps even the best way to illustrate overall program structure and effective program evaluation. They are simply one way to do it. Very successful proposals can have clear descriptions of goals, activities, outcomes, and measures using text, tables, and figures too, without a formal logic model. Yet it is worth noting that study sections understand logic models and their utility, and utilization of them is increasing in T32 proposals.